doing a podcast.
How close should I like be to the mic?
Move it to you. You can eat it.
Okay.
And then we can kind of
You can eat it.
Eat it, bro.
Eat it, bro.
I'll eat it.
Eat the mic.
Hey guys and gals, welcome to Dude, Check This Out, a music podcast hosted by Hambone Relay, which includes me, Rob Tate. I play drums in Hambone Relay, and I'm going to be doing the interviewing today on the podcast. And over there on the computer is Mark Brown. He's booker and organist extraordinaire.
Hey.
That's right. He's fabulous. He does one word about every 5 minutes. If you want to find all the words that Mark says, sometimes they add up to a whole sentence. Like I said, we're a podcast about music. We try to talk about all sorts of genres, but real quick, we cannot talk about every single genre in the spectrum. It's impossible. I'm sorry if y'all get mad. It's fine. So what you're going to do, if you want us to talk about a certain topic or a certain band, or you want us to have somebody else on, please email dudecheckthisout musicpodcast@gmail.com. Today we have a fantastic band called Suburban Sensi.
Sensi, yes.
I almost fucked it up
Yes.
again. I did it. I was practicing on the way over.
Yeah, that's
Sensei.
great. So many people say sensei.
I mean,
sensei.
What they automatically put the E in there and just assume? Like, what is that?
I mean, yeah, I guess it confuses people that it's an I, but it is the proper way to spell it the way that we're talking about.
I'll be honest. Before I joined the band, I thought it was Suburban Sensei. I was not aware.
And they quickly corrected you and threatened
And
to
then-
kick
and
you
then-
out.
I think I learned shortly before I joined, and then I was like, okay. And then,
Awesome. Well, Suburban Sensi.
Yeah.
Sensi.
It can-
I feel so like, is this right?
That is great,
They're a
yeah.
fabulous.
It can be
They're a fabulous Reggae-Jam band. I mean, would you guys call yourselves that, like
That's
a
pretty-
Reggae-Jam band?
That's accurate.
It's very
I'd say that's
general.
accurate.
I mean, there's so many little things that every band
Definitely,
has.
yeah.
I mean, we're like an organ trio, funk,
Exactly.
jam.
It's hard to classify things.
rock.
But
Yeah, I mean,
that's usually what we get lumped into. So
we're like
Happy about it, upset about it.
no, I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, we're like I think a happy medium between like psychedelic and reggae.
That's the one I forgot. Okay.
And funk,
definitely.
you know,
And a little
Okay.
ska.
and definitely ska.
Yeah, definitely a lot of ska
definitely ska.
influences.
Yeah, especially on the last full record you
Oh
guys
yeah,
did with all the horns
for sure.
and stuff.
We got a lot of
and-
horns
yeah.
on the last record. I mean, even on the first EP we have out, there's like a upbeat like ska song, "Sweat the Beat," that we just put a music video out for actually.
Oh, nice. Isn't that the first
Yeah.
track off that?
Yeah,
too?
that's the first track on that.
That's like
yeah.
what you guys usually open your shows with that?
It's a lot of times the opener
Either the
or
opener or the
closer.
closer.
Yeah,
It's a big,
Yeah.
it's a big one.
Wait, you do the welcome to the Sensi show at the end?
sometimes. Yeah,
Okay.
sometimes.
I feel you. Okay, so here's the thing
it's
I like
just
to
a
do.
high energy song. So
Fair enough. Yeah. Well, here's what I like to do on this podcast. I like to kind of deep dive into the history of the band and like kind of talk about it. Now, here's the thing. I love doing research about the band and finding out the information. There is no full bio on you guys anywhere.
Cool.
I was. I mean,
We're
like,
just- We're just
there's, like-
exclusive.
They're a mystery, man.
are you in the know? But
yeah, right.
But I don't mean it as like an insult.
No,
but
yeah.
there was at some point. I guess it got taken down or edited in some way.
It's
but
possible.
It's more, yeah. I think more now. It's more of like a general, just like overview on there. But
Right.
yeah, I mean, basically the start of the band was like so. Tommy, who plays guitar, he's not here right now. Me and him are cousins. We kind of started it. Just we've been playing our whole lives, just jamming in his basement. We'd play to shit we grew up listening to, the Beatles, Stones, like Kinks, shit like that. And then, it just grew. We got our first bass player, Alex. We grew up with him, and,
Did you all go to school together?
yeah, basically. Him and Alex and Tommy grew up together, and, me and Tommy were cousins, so I was just always over there. And, I was like the younger cousin who kind of just hopped in and became part of the band, finagle my way in,
Heavily influential. You had to work your way into it, right?
Yeah, right.
No, I love it.
But,
By the way, speaking is Steve, the piano player.
Yeah, what's up?
For Suburban, and over here we have Anton, who plays bass for the band.
Yeah.
Howdy. Hey now.
And that'll be the quote for the show.
Howdy, all.
All right, so you guys played together in high school.
So, yeah, basically, me and Tommy grew up playing. We started the band, and, we started, small, playing, just the local stuff. We were all in high school at the time, so, we were sneaking into, like, the local bars, like, trying to play, get our foot in the door, and then...
What high school, if you don't mind me asking?
I went to Lenape. Tommy and Alex went to Cherokee, and then Buddy, who's our drummer, he went to Lenape also. He grew up down the street from me, so it's kind of like... I brought him in, Tommy brought Alex in, and then it was like we had a band,
Lenape School District in the house.
Yeah, right.
I went to Shawnee.
Oh, nice. There you go.
Down the road. Yeah, that's actually fantastic. So did you guys get involved in a lot of like the school things, like the battle of the bands?
Not really, honestly. We didn't really do any of that. We kind of skipped that. We did do some like battle of the band stuff, like at like the Trocadero and like bullshit like that, where you gotta like sell tickets and like have a chance to like win.
All right, we'll give you $25 if you sell 100 tickets, and then we'll give you $1 per ticket after that.
When you're a kid, you're like, okay,
yeah, right, exactly. We're like, oh wait, we get to play at like an actual venue and like be like cool, like we'll do it. Like now we're like way smarter than that, but
I saw a interview. I guess you guys did right before that show. It was like 9 years ago.
Okay,
that you guys played the truck. It was like
probably
an interview
oh my
you did
God,
outside the venue.
That's probably,
oh my God,
I think his name was
JC
something or other.
It's probably hilarious.
Oh, you guys look mad young.
I'm sure.
Wow.
That's what I mean. We were like in high school, just like ripping it,
Hey Rob, I think we should link to that video.
Oh yeah, maybe we'll cut it out of YouTube and put it into this
definitely
video.
put some sound bites of that in there.
So honestly,
sure.
like probably me and Tommy are probably the only ones in that video that are probably still in the band.
We're working on nice and slow. Now, how did you guys go before? How did you all move?
Well, it was me and him at first. We had a different band. We had to kick our drummer out. Then we picked up Johnny drummer. This kid. He moved next to my house. So I picked up him. He played a couple Sublime songs. He likes Sublime. Then Gabe came.
Then we got this kid right here. He's my cousin.
It's a trumpet player over here.
He's a trombone player.
Trombone.
Basically, they were already a band minus me. I met John at school. John says, hey, you like music? I'm like, yeah, I like music. So we start shooting the shit on different kinds of music. Start talking about Chili Peppers, Sublime, Incubus, 311, all that. And then I linked up with the band. So
now, I know y'all heard their music before. They got a real different sound. To be honest, I never heard nothing like this. This is probably should have said
Yeah, so like we went through like 2 drummers before we got Buddy, but Buddy has been in the band now for a while. So I mean, we kind of would consider him like a, starting member almost.
All right, so Buddy's your drummer, not your percussionist.
Yeah.
Kenny is your percussionist.
Kenny plays percussion. So how we got Kenny was, we would be playing shows, and he played in a couple other bands, and we would play with them, and he would have his percussion rig set up, and we would
He's basically just like South Jersey's like percussionist.
Yeah,
in
we would just be like,
Right,
you want to leave your shit
he's
set
with
up
so
and
many different
come jam
bands.
with us, and that would be it. He would come up and jam, and then eventually one day, we were just like, hey, do you want to join the band? And
He's like, my shit's already here, so
yeah,
I guess.
basically, yeah. So then we got Kenny. And
How's your wallet?
Yeah.
Kidding. Isn't that always the question?
No,
but okay, then you got who after that?
So then, and then after that, that was basically the lineup, and then we had problems with our original bass player, and he parted ways with us, and then we got this man Anton killing it on the bass. He's been in the band for probably like 3 or 4 years. Yeah.
Nice, dude.
So I mean, this man just stepped right up. He writes songs and stuff, and just fit right in, and it was just a perfect gel, and we've just been rocking it since then. Like we've been hitting the road, and
I've been like really trying to link up with like a band that's like, taking initiative to do things to better themselves and to like grow as like a business rather than just like rocking out all the time, So it was cool to be able to like link up with them, and I'm like, okay, like these are guys that want to do what I want to do, and they want to
like-minded.
They want to play music for a living,
Anton, were you having trouble with that before? Were you in like many bands before that and just couldn't get the thing to click?
Yeah, I'd say like 3.
Bass players do play in the most bands.
Yeah. I'd say like 3. Well, because I didn't always play bass, so like I played like ukulele and piano first, and then I kind of like didn't want to be known as like the ukulele guy, so it was like, all right, let me try something else.
Man.
And this
I wanted to get chicks, but not those chicks.
exactly. That well, because like I was in high school and I was like, well, you know, if like I'll play like some sappy song, like some chick will be like, oh, he's cool, you know. And then
they left with the drummer.
Yeah,
Or the bass player.
exactly.
And that's why you became a bass player.
Well, no, I specifically remember playing ukulele in high school,
Okay.
and this is Cherry Hill East High School. If anybody's listening out there that teaches there or was a faculty member, you let this happen.
Don't blame them. You picked
God.
up the ukulele.
Well, no, I was playing the uke, and like the entire crowd that I was like, it was like some like talent show or some like BS or something like that, and like everybody just started like laughing at me like in like school, and I just like literally took it and like threw it on the ground like some like Hollywood movie and just like ran out of the school. And, like,
God.
like,
This
yeah,
is
it was
real?
bad. I swear, yeah.
I mean, I can completely see that happening.
Hold on. I have to know what was the song? No,
I believe it was Johnny Cash.
you were playing Johnny Cash on a ukulele.
I think so.
I would have booed you too, or laughed at you.
It probably it clashes, you know, like the deep vocals and the super high ukulele. It's
Yeah,
it's
you need
weird,
some
yeah.
Tiny Tim on there or something.
It was just bad, but you know, and
You
I
can't play
learned.
outlaw country
And
on
I
a
learned.
ukulele.
But I learned.
Excuse me.
But no, and then I was in like a group, and then our bass player in that group, like something happened with him, and he couldn't like something with bass players, right?
Huh,
They just-
what group was that?
I mean, it didn't really. I mean, we didn't really like do anything. It was just kind of like we did like a couple shows. It was called Honey Wagon.
Okay.
It was like a kind of like a it started off as like a Blues Breakers kind of like group, like the
That's awesome.
super like old school like blues like 60s kind of like jams like that. And then but it was like a 4-piece, and then the old bass player kind of just like fizzled out and like got into some stuff he shouldn't have, and then and then they were just like, well, we don't have a bass player, and I was like, well, I guess I'll try. And then like I just ended up really liking it, and then I started picking it up fairly quickly, and then we kind of became like a Cream type band, like a 3-piece like hard like blues band. And then that whole project just kind of fizzled out, and I just like went my own way and just kind of just did a lot of practicing and wasn't in any bands and anything like that. And I was living in PA for a little bit out in Lancaster, and then I moved back, and that's when the day I moved back was when I met these guys. Because
Oh yeah, you
Be in the
came
band,
to
they were
you came to a show we were.
they
at.
were opening for Mo.
Yeah.
You opened for Mo?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was over at
So
up in Asbury Park.
I'm
at,
the
the
Stone Pony,
Pony.
yeah. But I'm a big fan of Mo, and I went out there, and as soon as I got there, like someone was like, dude, you know there's like a band from like your town that's like opening. I was like, no way. And then yeah, we were in there, and I met them all,
we
and
all
then
hung out. And I think like the next week was when I was hanging out with Zach, who was his roommate, and we hung out again there. And that's when it came up where he was like, yo, like I play the bass, and I was like, yo, like we're kind of looking for a new bass player.
Your
come,
guy was
come
on the
jam
outs.
with us. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It was kind of like we knew like we were gonna need someone else.
yeah,
And
I was
then
actually,
just like
I was actually in a bluegrass band, and then I got fired from it, and then literally, and they were playing the same show that blue. So like I got fired after a show we did.
All right, where is this? So just set the scene for the people
It was
here.
at the Electric Halloween Festival.
Okay.
And
a couple friends of ours play that every now and again.
it was like
Narbot and all them.
the very first one that happened.
Okay.
And then like I don't know, there was just like some clash of egos. I'm not gonna say what band I was in or whatever, but like there
both
whatever.
our bands were playing, and,
And-
basically he came over.
Yeah, I
like,
came up to them and I was just like, yeah, like you know, like I just got fucking fired, you know, and I was like, I like played rhythm guitar anyway, and like I didn't even want to do that because you know, like I play bass and shit, you know, and like they were like, well, that's cool because that we're kind of looking for our bass player.
Yeah, it just kind of worked out perfectly.
Yeah.
Honestly.
And your bass player was still with you. Like was he getting ready to leave, or you getting ready to like?
Yeah,
part
I mean,
ways?
it was like, he was just going through some shit, and it just wasn't working out. Like he just, he didn't have the time to be practicing with Sensi, and he just, he couldn't really handle it anymore. So we had to move on. It was a little rough in the beginning, but everything's cool. We're on good terms, and he's still a homie, and we're still on good terms with him and everything. So
he's doing his thing.
Yeah, exactly. He's still good. He's doing good, and we love you, Diddy.
His name is Diddy.
It's a nickname.
He already won the best nickname contest, so he doesn't need much else, right?
Old Diddy.
Yeah.
Oh, Diddy. All right, so the band forms in 2008, and then the first EP, from my research, doesn't come out until 2014.
So,
is that right?
Yeah.
So what's that about?
So I mean, we did have other releases. They were just never like officially like online.
Okay.
Like, we had a demo that came out probably like around that time, like probably like 2009, 2010,
Mm-hmm.
and then we released a full length album that we literally did nothing with. We just recorded it basically, and it was with our old drummer and he left like right after we recorded it.
Isn't that the worst?
Yeah, so it's just like, what do we do with this?
Drummers,
And then we got Buddy, and then everything started going good. And then we recorded that EP, and it just took actually 2 years to actually put it online and shit. But it was out like before that.
Wait, so just to clarify, so you came out with a demo
There was a demo
that you were selling. It wasn't anywhere online.
Yeah.
And same thing with the full length.
And the
Did
full
you get
length.
it made?
We did. We got some made. We kind of just made them ourselves, honestly. We didn't really do much with that full length because we didn't really like the way it turned out, honestly. Like, it wasn't something we really wanted to release. So then we went back in and did that EP. And
That was in 2012.
Yeah, that was around 2012, between 2012 and 2014. Like, we also had another guitar player who left the band around that time, and that kind of threw things a little bit off in the recording of that EP, where we had to change some shit, and we ended up, it was only going to be 3 songs, and then we added another 3 onto it that we were working on at the time. So yeah, I mean, it kind of just snowballed, and we didn't really get to release it as fast as we wanted it to, which kind of sucks, but it's out there now, and we are proud of that EP. I mean, it's awesome. Yeah, so I mean, it's out there for people to hear.
Feeling the baseline, hit my soul, see my mind dissolve as I become a whole. Trapped inside this gem, there's a way we can grasp the meaning of life right inside our hands. So I just let out my heart, let the creation flow, while I welcome you to the Suburban Sensi show. You check that rhythm out, that Sensi is in the house. Come on, jamming every day is the only way to keep your sanity and your head on straight. So bust out these funky gems, much love goes out to all our friends. And positive.
I don't know if you said this, if I didn't catch it. Is the other guitar player on that EP, or
He is on. He may be on a couple.
Is he?
He may be on a couple tracks. There may be
Anton's
some
not
parts.
sure.
There's not.
I'm not sure.
There's not. His guitar parts aren't on it, but there may be some little things that he contributed on there, like maybe some background vocals,
Some
or
breathing, yeah.
Some there may be a couple little guitar licks on there. Yeah.
Plays
Yeah,
that,
you know.
that,
here comes track one.
plays that wooden fish with the ribs on it,
Yeah. But no, that's out there, and then
This psychedelic
and then-
band went weird. What's with the fish?
But yeah, and then we went back in the studio, once we had Anton in the band, and the last album we released last year, and or what was it, 2017?
Well, we went in when we recorded it.
2018 that we
We
released
recorded it in 2017, and it got released in 2018.
Yeah, you mentioned in previous interviews that you were doing that album all year, all 2017.
Yeah.
So yeah, and we're actually going in and recording our second album in a week.
Yeah.
And in the
No
same
shit.
spot. But
Where is that?
it is our buddy Bob Bowling. And if any band
shout
out
out
there
Bob.
is looking for some affordable recording, my man Bob Bowling in Atco, New Jersey. He's the man.
Yeah, he's the man
But,
to talk to.
Is he by that old movie theater business?
He's right
or
by the
whatever?
racetrack.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right
Yeah,
there.
right near the racetrack. Yeah.
But yeah, I can't say enough good things about him.
What's the studio
Does it-
called?
I think it's just called Bob
Yeah, it's
Bowling
just like
Studios.
Bob Bowling
I think it's something
Audio.
pretty.
Yeah, he didn't bother wasting
pretty to
time.
the
He
point.
just-
Yeah.
It's just his name. You look him up. He's got like Facebook for it and stuff.
All right,
I'm pretty
right on,
sure.
right on.
But
Were you guys a band that you guys really like to pre-produce before you go in, or were you very much a in the studio band, like learning the arrangements and things like that?
I feel like we kind of did
Being a jam band, I
Well-
feel like every jam band is different.
Yeah.
the last record we did, we were like, okay, we practiced a bunch of songs.
We've been
and we were
playing
like,
the songs
and we were like,
on that
we
record
have-
for so long.
and we were like, okay, we know what we're gonna do. We're gonna go in. Let's do this. We get in. We record everything, and then all of a sudden, you just start falling down this rabbit hole of like overdubbing. And just like constantly just like mixing to the point of just like going crazy. And then before you know it, you've been working on it for like 6-8 months.
Yeah.
And so we're not going to do that this time.
Yeah. We have definitely
People can
different-
watch in the
we have
video.
definitely a different approach this time. Like for that last record, we went in over like periods of time. So it would be like 2 days where we went in, and then we wouldn't be back there for like another week or another 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and then go back in and do more, add to the track. So it's like this time we have a whole week that we're just going in there for the week, recording.
Yeah, we all took a week off from our day jobs,
Yeah.
and we're like, we're going in
And it's
there.
like the goal is to
Getting
get
to
an album out of next week.
Is Bob cool with that? That you guys are
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
much there from morning until night, however long it takes to get each part
Oh,
down?
he's super psyched.
Yeah, he's really.
Did he take the week off from every other project too?
Yeah.
It's just you
Oh
guys.
yeah, just
Yeah.
us. Yeah,
we booked this like
we booked
a
it like
couple
6 months ago.
Yeah, so it's like finally here. Now we're like,
It's
shit,
cool
we gotta
though,
get these
too.
songs tight.
It's cool though too.
We actually have to leave to go to rehearsal now. Like
He really does take on like a producer kind of role too, and he like just offers really like
sound
smart
advice.
suggestions
Definitely, yeah.
during the recording process.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, like we did a bunch of things on our last record that
Yeah, I mean we
Like
what?
we
I feel
threw
like
so
people
many
recommended.
different like effects and just like little sequences where like things would like fly around the headphones or something.
Yeah.
Different sounds. Just buzzing around the headphones and going.
What would be a
from-
good example
going
for
from
people to
left
listen
to? I mean, I know on Breathe Again, the first track on that album at the end.
The end track.
There's like,
Yeah.
just like
so
dive into like just psychedelic like trippiness, and then it flows into like the next track.
So it's like
So, like those first two tracks are both pretty good examples.
it's like
Float Away and
4
Breathe
bass
Again.
tracks like over top of each other, and like, but like 2 of them are like done with like an octave pedal that's like 3 octaves higher. So it sounds like super weird and like artificial, like computery, like generated. And there's like buzz going on in it and like envelope filters. So it's just like this big,
It's
like
just-
swirly. But he really came through on that.
Well,
'Cause
yeah, I mean,
I
just
felt like
just down to the point where it's like you would make a suggestion and he'd be like, and it would literally be like 0.5 seconds later, and it was like done. Like it's like in the song. Like,
Yeah,
it's like,
I-
oh yeah, like how
I
about
feel-
this? And it was like, wow, that's like exactly what I was
Yeah, I
thinking.
feel-
you
I
know?
feel-
Moving right along. Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of times where, like, I felt like just like a crazy person, like, and they're like, okay, like I need like,
Yeah, like trying to
I need, like,
describe
the-
shit
yeah,
to him,
like,
and then he just
exactly,
like,
it's like-
punches a few buttons.
it's
and
like I need like the sound of
does this
like an
sound cool?
alien ship like crashing onto like Dorothy's house, and and like or like something like that, or there's like okay, and like I got it.
Yeah, sometimes being like he'll take a second, just like,
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, boom, there it is. Like, it's like, oh, that's exactly what I was talking about.
Yeah,
Like,
Bob is the man.
He knows how to translate that
Definitely.
speak. That's
Yeah.
funny. That's like the complete opposite of what we do. So it's interesting to hear. For our stuff, we pretty much we go into this guy Derek's studio in the green room. It's in Harrisburg. Shout out to Derek.
Cool.
And we usually go in there maybe like we're putting out a vinyl.
Oh, nice.
In like a couple months.
Yeah, we were talking about that last time that we met up. That's awesome, dude. We were looking into that, but our shit was way too long.
It's
even.
a little yeah. We lucked out in terms of timing.
What's that? Is that at 44 minutes? Is your limit on
What's
that?
actually less?
Well, it's
oh no,
it's 22 per side. It is 22 per side, but the guy told me that if you do more than 18 minutes, you lose quality. You lose some of the low end.
Yeah, no, that is true.
So
if you go out from the center of the vinyl, you lose more and more quality. That's why the best song was always right there in the front. So you always have the most quality.
Yeah, so we came in, one side is like just at 18, the other side is like 1930. Okay. So we had no, there was no way, otherwise we couldn't have, you know what I mean? We wouldn't fit everything on there.
Wow, no shit.
Yeah, but what I was getting at was just like for us, like boy, we write is usually Mark wrote most of the tunes on the last record. I wrote two with one with him with Luke, and we would kind of go in and basically have a normal idea. We've been playing them just like you guys did.
Yeah.
But I would love to be a fly on the wall when you guys are mixing and be.
Yeah.
I want a Dorothy's house falling on Toto, but I want the scream of a dolphin for when the house falls.
You're more than welcome to Popeye's Studio next week.
Definitely
if you want,
come
man. My dad's coming by. He's bringing a bunch of
his golf buddies.
Cool, he's actually bringing a bunch of instruments.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah, like a dulcimer and
fuck yeah.
Do you play dulcimer?
I do a little bit, but I was gonna say I actually just found this out before I came here, which is super heartbreaking. But he had this Martin guitar that was like gorgeous, and he bought it the year I was born, and like I was like, yo, this guitar is gonna be mine one day. You know, like this is like my heirloom. It's like this. It's like the family sword in like Game of Thrones. like this is good.
But
like,
did it have a nickname?
Yeah, like I will wield this one day.
This may serve you
and like,
well.
So we're gonna have a lot of like acoustic guitar like on this like next record, like way more than like the previous record, and like kind of like more like folky kind of blend folk rock. And
what happened to the guitar?
So I texted my dad today, and I'm like, hey, like when you come by, like can you bring like the Martin, because like I want like Tommy to like record some stuff on it, like, and like that's like my favorite guitar, so like you should bring it. And then he was just like, I sold it, and then I was just like, haha. Nope, no, really, bring the Martin. And then like he was like, no, I sold it, and I was like, you're bullshitting me. He's like, yeah, I sold it last spring. Like, I have like arthritis, and like the neck is too wide. And it like hurts for me to grab it. So I sold it and bought like a guitar with like a smaller neck. And I'm like, damn, no, that was like, I wanted that so bad. I
sold it to me.
I told him that. I was like, whatever you wanted for it, like I would have gave you. I was like texting him like before, like on the way over here. I was like, "Yo, give me that guy's information.
You're gonna
and
chase
address.
This guitar down."
Yeah, I'm gonna find this guy, and I'm gonna be like, "Yo, whatever you paid my dad for this guitar, I'll give you that like plus like $400 to like give this to me." You know, because it's like that important that I have it.
This guitar is his Excalibur.
This is Bruce Willis's dad's watch. From Nam,
I can't believe
he had it up. He had it up his ass the whole time. The
whole Martin guitar up his ass.
Is up his ass. He's hiding it.
Yep,
it's one hell of a fucking splinter. Jesus Christ.
I know. So unfortunately, I think we'll have to settle for my Takamine for the recording.
Yeah, hey, Takamine's cool. They're a good company.
It's good. It needs a setup because I've neglected it, but yeah.
Yeah. Are you humidifying it and all that jazz? And
no, I'm really bad.
They sell these really cool like little plastic jobbies. You just plop them in like once a day, just like soak up the sponge.
It's like really, I'm so bad. Like I'm so obsessive about like taking care of like my basses because like those are like my babies, and
Yeah.
I'm just like, but like all like I have like 5 ukuleles and like,
Of course you do.
and yeah, dude, I have a whole bunch. Like,
Besides the one he smashed.
Yeah, that
in
one's
high
stupid.
school.
No, that one is
Watch the guy that has the Martin has that ukulele too because he's like a
God.
stalker.
dude. I've actually smashed
Remember
like
this?
I think I've smashed like 3 or 4 ukuleles.
Jesus.
But the thing is, that one time was the only time I did it on purpose. The rest of the times were by accident. It was like
Yeah.
I sat on it by accident.
Very easy things
or
to
like
completely
I-
destroy.
there was one time
Like
I was
my soul.
like I was going to like a friend's 21st birthday party, and for some reason I brought it, and we all took like a stretch Hummer, and I was like getting out the car, and I slammed the car door
my
behind me, and it
God.
was right there. And
What
just
are the
like
chances?
crunch.
Did you
Yeah.
hear it?
Yeah. It's like it was like that like El Kabong sound when they like hit the guitar against the tree and you just hear the strings just like splatter
Oh
out.
God.
Yeah.
Jesus H Christ.
It was bad. But
Yeah, don't do that to ukulele.
no, yeah.
That's a-
I've been much better. I've been much more careful with my instruments now. Especially now that I got these like fancy like American Fenders, like I don't fuck with that anymore.
No, those are nice basses.
Yeah.
Steve, what are you playing these days?
So I play keyboard mostly for Sensi, but like
I mean, like what keyboard rig? are you
what
playing?
keyboard play?
Yeah.
So I usually the rig that I bring out to shows, I'll have my 88 key chord cross as
Isn't that
my
what you have?
as my main keyboard.
Now I have the SV1.
Oh, that's
Yeah, it's
I don't have the
similar. It's
cross.
similar to that. It's a
Cross
little
is
different.
cool.
You saw my keyboard when we played together. Yeah. So I usually have that, and then Tommy actually has a Roland Juno. I forget what the exact model of it is, but
Like synthy sounds.
yeah,
and stuff.
it's got a lot of nice synth sounds, and it's got nice organ sounds on it too. It's really got nice everything. Honestly, I could probably just use that if I wanted to, but I usually have that on my top, and then I'll have my Korg underneath, and that's basically my setup. I'll have
Melodica.
my melodica for certain songs, and then I have delay pedals hooked up to both the keyboards, and then I have tremolo on my main keyboard as well for like some of the like trippier like kind of like jams we get into, you know.
Is that like a new addition for like the new album, like the tremolo stuff? Or
I think you've always done
no,
that.
I mean I've had that. I played that on the last album, like basically the whole time. I mean, honestly, there's probably less shit on this album that uses the tremolo. There was more shit on the last album for sure that used that. But yeah, that's my basic setup. Sometimes I have like a Novation synth I'll bring out too, just like the little guy. I use that on the last record too, on a few of the songs. But for the most part, that's my setup. I mean, for keys, and then when we practice, we all switch off on shit too. Like I play drums, guitar, bass. Like we all.
do you do that on your live shows as well? Do you
Sometimes.
switch around?
Yeah.
We have at times.
Yeah, there's some times where we'll just start a show and we'll all be on like different instruments. Like
Just
like I'll play bass, Anton will be on drums, Tommy will be on like keyboard.
Yeah, I went and saw this band Gentle Giant, and they're like a prog rock band, and they all switch instruments like that. But they're all like equally proficient on like each instrument. Like you could like if you were like listening to like a live recording, like you wouldn't tell that like they all switched.
Yeah.
Like it's like mind bending, like King Crimson-y kind of like stuff. I mean, we're not like that level.
Yeah.
Like when we do like
Well,
the switch,
It's
but, like,
definitely
but
when we write songs, though, because a lot of times like Tommy will come to us with a song that like he has on like keyboard, and like a lot of times when I write songs, like I'll write them on guitar and then like bring them to the group, and then
when we do that switch,
and then it turns into like everyone get on their actual instruments and learn
When-
it.
when we do that switch live, like it's typically like when we do like super like in the cut like dub reggae jams.
yeah.
Like yeah, just
what?
like some like King Tubby, like the
Yeah.
super fat like
Yeah.
reggae.
Definitely, yeah. Like, me and Anton just hold down the rhythm on that.
Yeah, because like
you know.
I'll hop on the drums and he'll play bass, and then we'll just be like, all right, it's like
We're just gonna be like, yeah, we're just gonna
Be like
dub.
Sly and
for,
Robbie.
Where's
Like,
Buddy
vibes.
going? Buddy just like
So Buddy's the only one in the band that he can only play drums. He can't play any other instrument. Even Kenny can play guitar. So when we
Kenny
do
actually
that,
plays guitar. Yeah.
so when we do that, Kenny usually hops off the congas, goes to guitar. Tommy will go from guitar to
keyboards.
keyboard. I'll go from keyboard to bass. he'll go from bass to drums, and Buddy will go from drums to
percussion.
So he's the only one that's
the one damn move you don't do.
I know.
He's the only one that can't really go to like an actual melodic instrument.
We should just like make him play triangle.
Or make him play the ukulele.
There you go.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. What nobody wants to do.
But yeah, those are always
Look
fun.
in the mirror, bro. Come on, man. Don't be like that.
I haven't played it in a while. I played it when we were on the bus trip coming home. That was like the first time I played from our show like last week in Syracuse. That was like the last time, or I mean, that was like the most recently I played ukulele in like, God, probably like 2 years or something. It's been like so long.
Yeah, just go ahead and grab one. Cool. Now, you guys were coming from Syracuse, and I saw on your I think it was your Instagram. Do you guys have a Medford Lee's bus?
Yeah. So
Medford Lee's is a retirement center, in case you didn't know. But is it like hush hush? Probably shouldn't.
No. It's all good. So it came to the point where we were like, okay, we
grab me one too. Grab Anton one too.
Yeah, if there's one in there for me, I'll also take one. Thank you. But yeah, it came to the point where it's like, okay, we're playing a lot, we're driving all over the place. Like, it's bullshit having like 3 cars like going around shuffling everybody around and all the gear. Like, we need to get like a vehicle. And
Thank you.
So we practice in Mount Holly, and every day driving to Mount Holly, I take Route 38, like going down there. And every time, right near where we practice, there's this giant bus lot. Thank you. There's this giant bus lot called, what was it?
Wolfington.
Wolfingtons? Yeah.
Wolfington.
They got like the school buses, and they also have the Greyhounds.
Yeah, they sell like school buses, like like Greyhounds, like RVs, like stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And we were just talking about like the possibility of getting a bus, and I was like, there's that spot on 38. Like we all were just like, let's just call them. Turns out they have this old person shuttle bus from the Medford Lee's retirement home.
Yeah, that no one wanted to buy because
apparently
it just wasn't like, everyone that went there
died in it.
Like,
and then
everyone that went there was looking for like school buses and shit,
Right. They're not
so
going
like
for
no
that.
one when they saw that, they had a handicap lift, like they were like, this isn't going to work for what we need. So it was like sitting there for like months. And we came at the point where they were like just trying to get rid of it. Like,
so you guys got a killer deal on this.
Yeah. So like,
should we say what we got for him?
I mean, it doesn't really matter.
You already got it.
Yeah,
we already got it. Yeah,
it was like $3,000, and
it had like
60,000
miles on it. Yeah.
So we were like,
there's tons of.
They were asking more, and we got them down to like $3,000. So it was like we felt good about it. Yeah.
I mean, like it's been sitting there for months, and they're just like,
exactly. They told us that, and we were like, we'll give you
why
like
would
3.
you give that away? That information, like,
Like, it's been here for like 6 months. Like,
I'm like, okay,
we're like, true.
We'll
so no one wants
in
it.
half.
Like,
thank you.
But it's so nice having like that little like fold down lift out of the back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like the handicap lift. We literally just
roll our
used
gear
to like
right
put
onto
all
it.
our gear on. Yep.
Hit a little button on the side of the door, just lifts it right into the van.
And then you just roll it in.
Hey, Rob, we need that so bad, dude.
I know. They found it at Wolfington on 38.
Yeah, definitely.
There's actually probably more buses like that there.
Well, there you go, Mark. Mark's going to write that down in his notes for other things for him to do other than getting us beer and planning the tours and,
No, definitely.
He doesn't have enough to do.
Running the band.
Running the band.
Dude, we just bought a trailer and a vinyl record, dude.
Well, we didn't.
There you go.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did
next,
do that.
Next purchase.
Yeah,
Speaking of which,
world tour, bro.
So that's how you guys. That's how you guys roll. You do a trailer like to a van.
Yeah, I have an SUV and we haul a 5x8 trailer.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it works.
See,
No, definitely.
Just
I want
three
to
of
get
us.
things like this, like what they got.
Yeah, like the.
They're
the
pointing
hard
at
cases
Leslie
and that,
in the case.
Is that a Leslie in there?
Yeah.
Oh,
Nice.
get out of here.
That's
Oh man, nice.
Yeah, we got
jelly.
carrying it around's not jelly, but the
not
sound
for sure.
is.
I can only imagine.
Oh, I mean,
I get pissed off
there's-
just from my like big ass like chord keyboard alone. Like lugging
there's-
that shit out is
There's
a pain
just
in the
nothing
ass.
that can replicate that, you know?
Right.
Like,
And it's also
it's
a great.
just-
It sounds great. It's a good talking point, and people are like, "What's that?"
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then it's always fun to have seeing sound engineers see it for the first time because then you're like, oh, you don't know.
Yeah.
We're working with.
What do we do with this?
Where's the hole?
Yeah, we played
Can I know where the hole
we played
is?
Beard Fest last year. It was,
I saw the video. Sounds great.
Well, but later John Medeski came and played, and he had like just seeing his like organ being set up. Like I was just like sitting like side stage, like while like they were like hauling like all that on, and just like seeing his like gear and all that was like just like wild, dude. That guy is just unbelievable.
Yeah, was it Medeski, Martin, and Mono Neon?
Yes, Medeski, Martin, Mono Neon. But I'd never seen him live before, and he had like a clavinet on like the top of the organ, and he was doing things where like he'd be like you know like just like mashing the keys with like one hand, and then he'd be like lifting the top of the clavinet like with the other hand, just like pulling and like bending on shit that was like in there like while he was like hitting it, and like
That's bizarre.
Yeah, like he was just.
Did the clav have like that metal bar on top that he can like pull
No,
like
not
the whammy bar or
like
whatever?
the George Duke like
Okay,
whammy.
yeah.
No, I didn't have that.
That's my next purchase, by the way.
Oh, those
Rob.
things are
It's
awesome.
coming.
Market has too many next purchases, man. That's too many.
Well, I want to get this guy the what's that like little Yamaha
Oh, yeah,
like that
Reface.
it's like Yamaha Reface CE or CP. It's like one of those
something like
but
that.
it's like a little tiny keyboard, but it does all like just like Rhodes, Wurlitzer, and like clav sounds and like toy piano sounds, but just
That's awesome.
like weirdly accurate.
Sure, yeah.
No, it sounds sick, and like the demos on like YouTube and everything.
It's just like it's like this big. That's like the only thing that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of those little keyboards you're like.
I don't know. I'm happy about it,
Like that.
carrying it around. I'm a happy camper about that.
Yeah, right.
Just saying. All right, so you guys you're coming out with this new record, which I didn't know about. It's fantastic. Do you have a name for it already?
We actually
Not
don't.
yet, no. I mean, we got like
we got to go record.
We've had some ideas,
Yeah,
but
we've got a list of songs, and that's like our starting point. Like we've got a good chunk of, we got like probably like 10 songs that like we'll see what makes it on it. We're just gonna go in and record and see what happens, basically.
What's the idea? Is it kind of like still a jam band kind of record, or is it more organized songs?
definitely
song
more
formats?
organized.
Yeah,
So
it's
like
definitely
our last record was, well, we didn't really have like a full length record, so we were just like, okay, there's a whole bunch of songs
That we played
that ranged from when the band first started to right up to when that album was recorded that were not recorded. So we're like, okay, let's just go in and just get all this stuff out and get it recorded. And this album, I feel like we've really like come. It's a lot of the songs kind of like touch upon like central themes. I think like. I feel like they're like a lot more like serious subject matter. Like the last record's definitely like
There's
like
definitely a few serious songs, and then a lot of like kind
There's
of
definitely
just,
seri-
like, inside joke songs.
there's
and,
definitely
like,
serious songs on the
like,
last
goofy
record,
songs, like,
but it's definitely like like let's go like party and like rage and
exactly,
like that kind of thing.
more of a party vibe.
But like this new record, I feel like it's a lot to do
more
with
like an insightful,
a lot
like,
more
songwriting.
It's got
oriented.
there's a lot of like songs that deal with like loss. A lot to do with like finding love, you know, like a whole bunch of like stuff. There's a lot more like heavier subject matter.
Definitely.
And I feel like because the subject matter is a little bit more serious, like the music itself kind of takes on a bit more of like a serious vibe too.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's funny too, like we so we've been practicing like all these songs like for like the last like 2 months or whatever. Like every time we get together and practice, we're like, okay, like let's run through the entire album, and then we pull out a smartphone and we time each song however long it takes, because we want a song to be like short
like
enough
radio friendly
to be on the radio.
Uh-huh.
And
a lot of our songs are like 5 minutes, 6 minutes.
But
you
yeah,
know?
we did like
it's tough to get them
we
short.
did
We're not all Springsteen.
Yeah.
we did like the entire thing, and we're like, okay, like the shortest song on here is like 5.5 minutes, And like the longest one's like almost 9 minutes.
So like we went back and like chopped it out a lot of shit on them.
Yeah, so we're like just like trimming the fat on like all these songs, and they're still like so long.
Yeah, like our shortest song now is like I think like a little over 4 minutes.
I think that may be the Jam Bandy
miss,
maybe still.
My question is this: you guys are going in a more serious direction. Is it just because you guys are getting a little older, or is it because you guys have kind of gone through some shit as a group? Or is it
definitely both?
I think it's all of it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we've definitely
we've been doing it
for like 10 years. You know,
everything hurts.
I'm the last like 2 years or so, it's really become apparent to me that it's like, oh shit, I'm not gonna live forever. You know, like that's like really dawning on me now. It's like, damn, I got shit I gotta do. You know.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of like the songs that like we've been writing. I feel like kind of have some of that stuff in there too. Definitely. Like a lot of like shit or get off the pot kind of messages.
Yeah.
I mean, at least that's how I interpret them.
No,
but or at least that's how I intended some of them to be interpreted. But I mean, I shouldn't say that. You interpret them however you want.
No,
but your interpretation of what
my
you guys are
interpretation
creating,
of them is that,
yeah, you don't want to influence somebody else's thing.
No,
so shut up. It's fine.
Shut up. Don't listen to me. It's
just serious. Okay?
Yeah, just listen to it. It's an inside joke. You wouldn't understand.
It's more serious, but it's still fun and good vibe.
Right, which is your guys' kind of thing.
Definitely, yeah. At least still got a good message, even on like the darker like subject matter on some of the songs. Like, and a lot of it, most of the songs are still like very uplifting. Like that's what we aspire to be. Like that's the point of like playing music, to get people happy, make sure everyone's having a good time and shit. You know, at our shows we want to make sure everyone's having a good time, you know, enjoying themselves, and everyone's sharing in the same, you know, unity of being there and being a part of something, you know.
Are you guys very conscious during live shows of how the vibe in the room is going? And do you have a good sense of how to control the room?
Yeah, so like we'll definitely like assess what's going on, and we'll alter whatever we're gonna play that night according to it.
Yeah.
Right. Well, you're talking about making the set, but I mean, like,
I know what you're saying. It's definitely a learning thing for us. You know, like we get better at that every time we play. I feel like, you know, learning how to like control a crowd, and you know what's gonna like make a crowd go wild. What's, you know, the times to chill it out and keep it slower. So it's definitely something, you know, that we're always learning of how to do that, you know, to work a live crowd. But I mean, yeah, I feel like we've definitely gotten to a point where like we can go in and like work the crowd, and you know we got that down. Like when we get in there, like we can get the crowd hype, you know. That's like our thing. We want to bring the party every time we play, you know. That's like our vibe.
Right. It seems to be. I checked out a few live shows on YouTube. It seems to be your thing now. By doing it so many times, is that why you guys created the Sensi Family Gathering, the festival?
Yeah.
Or like, how long ago was that when you guys first started the music festival?
Well, this is the first year.
This is the first year.
Oh, I thought this was like a few years. Okay.
No, yeah,
this is the first one.
The very first year.
The first year we're having it. Yep.
So you know, we played so many festivals, you know, over the course of our existence, and you know, sometime one day we're all just kind of like, you know, we can do this, and it's worked out for like, you know, like our friends like Out of the Beard Space, like their festivals, like taking them to some great places, you know.
Definitely.
And it's just like such a good promotion for your band to be like hosting a festival, and it's almost like, I almost feel like it's like more helpful than like going out and just like touring and grinding on the road. And
well, it's an environment where all like-minded people and fans will kind of combine, and then if you're also sharing fans, it's and also meeting new people. It's fantastic.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, I've just playing festivals and attending festivals. Like, I mean, it's just like such a fun time, and it's just awesome to throw a good party.
It's something that we've wanted to do for a while. So I mean, we've kind of like, we've been talking about it for a few years, and now we've kind of just delved into it. We've just gone all in on doing it. So this year we're hoping to have an awesome event, and you know, we hope tons of people come out and have fun and party with us and enjoy themselves. And we got awesome bands playing.
If you don't buy a ticket, I know who you are.
Well, I know who you are not. But you said Blind Faith tickets are up now, on your website?
Yeah.
Yes.
So you
And
can
how much
go
are those?
on
55?
Okay, and that's 2 days.
Yeah, for a whole weekend with camping. And there's
with camping?
Yeah, that's with camping.
Yeah,
It's a
so
good
you
deal.
can camp out for the night,
There's
get
get-
as messed up as possible, and you don't got to worry about driving home.
I don't know what you're talking
There's
about.
going to be a beer garden, whole shebang. Like, yeah, man.
Lots of things for you guys to announce, and we won't talk about it here because you guys.
But we could say you guys are playing. I'm down with that.
we didn't want to blow the lid, but I guess we're out now.
Do you have like some, like, do you have like some like fart noises or something you can hit or something like? Yeah.
All right, so Hambone is playing the festival.
Yes.
And we're very, very excited about it.
yes.
But we're more excited. I didn't know. I feel really bad. I didn't know that this is the first festival.
Yeah.
I'm excited
It's
as
gonna be
hell
awesome.
for you
Yeah,
guys.
dude,
Of course.
It's gonna
Thank
be
you.
awesome.
And, and I also did my own festival 1 year, and then I was
Yeah.
like, I'm too tired. I'm not doing this
Yeah,
again.
I feel
So
that.
I feel you guys so hard on like the setting everything up right
Definitely.
now.
It's a process.
You know, like, you ever see that? You watch The Simpsons?
You just got so in depth in your head, and we're about to take the train. Yes, I watched.
we have
The
more
Simpsons.
references.
There's an episode of The Simpsons where they all go like skiing, and
Yeah, I think I know the episode.
and like he sees like Flanders and like the sexy like ski suit,
Oh,
and,
with
like,
the
stuff
little-
like that.
yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
stupid
nothing
sexy
at all.
Flanders. Yeah, but he's like riding down the ski slope and like his like legs like split open and he's like just keeps like hitting like mounds of ice like on his nuts like as he's like going down the hill. That's how I feel like setting a festival up is
Basically.
like. It's just constantly just being hit in the nuts like on a daily basis.
Yeah.
It's
That's a pretty good comparison.
Like
Wow.
just constantly. I mean, I know
We're gonna
that
wear Ned Flanders outfits to the festival.
Yeah,
now.
right.
Yes.
I know that, but I know that like I'm gonna be like looking out from the crowd when like another band is playing, and I'm gonna see like all the people there and all the people having a good time, and be like, okay, like
It was all worth
this was all worth it.
Yeah.
You know?
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Mark from Hambone Relay. We hope you're enjoying Rob's interview with Suburban Sensi. Don't forget to subscribe to Dude Check This Out, a music podcast on iTunes. And please give us a review on iTunes. Those reviews really help us out. On May 3rd, we've got a brand new record coming out called Say Hi to Earl. It'll be available on vinyl, CD, and digital download. And you can go over to our website, www.hambonerelay.com, to pre-order the vinyl or the CD. All pre-orders will get a free copy of our live album, Like a Rocket, but louder. You can check Hambone Relay out this weekend. We'll be at Time in Philadelphia on March 15th, Friday, and on Saturday, March 16th, we'll be at the Fun House in Bethlehem, hanging out with our good buds, the Groove Merchants. It's going to be a kick-ass good time, so come out early and hang out late, and let's do this. Now back to you, Rob.
Another segment of the show is called The Music News. I bring in the music news. We talk about it. First piece of the music news is it's not really news. It's just touring season. So I got big touring news. First big thing is mostly for Mark. This first thing is Government Mule announced a spring tour. The coolest show they got is opening up for Lynyrd Skynyrd and Buddy Guy.
Whoa, no shit, really?
That's
I'm not going to say this name right. Canandaigua, New York.
Canandaigua, New York.
Canandaigua,
I've
yeah.
been there before.
It's a CMAC.
Yeah.
That's near where I grew up.
At CMAC.
I've
Yeah,
been
yeah,
there.
Yeah,
yeah.
on July the 13th, they'll be playing. Government Mule will be
Dude.
opening for Lynyrd Skynyrd and Buddy Guy. It's probably Lynyrd Skynyrd's goodbye run.
That's
I'm
an
going,
awesome,
bro.
That's an awesome venue, actually.
Oh my god! If that wasn't so close to our festival, I would so go up there and see
Dude,
that. That's
dope.
great.
No joke. I saw a Dream Theater, Deep Purple, and Emerson, Lake and Palmer
That's a
at
shame.
that
Oh
venue.
man, I was
yeah.
just talking about Dream Theater today.
yeah.
That's funny. I went and saw them. One of the first shows I ever went and saw was them opening for Yes,
Wow, dude.
but
That's
like,
cool.
but like fragile Yes lineup.
Oh,
you
wow.
know, like it
Okay.
was like the OGs. You
Right,
know, it was
right, right.
great.
That's awesome.
Chris Squire, you know,
Fuck
Alan
yeah,
White,
dude.
like all those guys. It was awesome.
Who's playing keyboards with him?
Rick Wakeman.
Rick Wakeman? Nice.
Yeah, he was wearing a big old foil cloak. You know, it was all shiny and shit. It was
Jesus
awesome.
Christ.
Yeah.
That's great.
So
But he was
dope.
plugging his patches in on all his like synths and stuff. Yeah, it was awesome.
The next big touring news is that Mo and the Blues Travelers are going on tour together.
G-Love.
With G-Love opening up.
Yeah,
They're going to be at the Pony
We
on
should go to
Friday,
that.
July 12th. G-Love and Special Sauce. Well, it's just G-Love. I don't think Special Sauce. Like the whole
G-Love
band's
is
coming.
awesome, dude.
And then actually tonight, as we're
Is it
filming,
1996?
Cake and what's it called? Ben Folds are going back on tour.
What? Oh man, it isn't.
It is the 90s.
It is the 90s.
As we're filming this right now, Tedeschi Trucks are playing in Philly tonight, so we're missing that show.
Oh,
but
damn.
that's a good show.
Yeah, dude, tickets
Rest
to
in
that show were
peace.
like $150.
Rest in peace, Kofi Burbridge,
Yes.
everybody.
Rest in
Yes,
peace,
for
Kofi.
sure.
That,
Yep.
that was part of my music news. He passed away. How did he pass away again? It was complications of.
Well, he had heart surgery
He had
a year
heart
ago.
surgery, yeah.
Yeah,
It's a shame.
That's a bummer, man.
Yeah. I didn't know much about him until our friend Rachel introduced Kofi and like showed me some music. I was like, oh, this guy's fucking insane at the
awesome.
piano.
Yeah, he did like a lot of like sitting in with like Allman Brothers and like stuff like that. And I've seen Tedeschi Talks Band twice with him, and incredible show. Like I saw them open for the Black Crowes once, and they blew them out of the water.
Really?
You know, like
That's
completely,
awesome.
completely. Yeah.
They're
He'll be
great
missed.
band.
Yeah. They're bringing the spirits up. Lockin'.
Yeah,
Have you seen this Lockin' festival lineup?
Dude, Trey and Tedeschi Trucks Band. That's what I'm excited for.
Speaking of Tedeschi Trucks,
So speaking of Tedeschi Trucks,
they released like the full lineup, well, most of the lineup for the festival. If you haven't seen this even just the poster, it's just the who's who of jam bands or even just rock bands.
Lockin's
or
always
dub and-
like it's a great mix of all
Bobby
different
and
music.
Susan Tedeschi.
Right, but well, the thing that's blowing everybody's minds is the Friday Saturday situation, which is that Trey Anastasio band is going to have Derek Trucks in for most of their
And then
set.
they're doing the SWAT.
And then the
That's
SWAT, the opposite on the next night, which is Tedeschi Trucks Band featuring Trey the entire
That's great.
night. And then everybody's on it. Wolfpack, O'Teal and Friends, Twiddle, Preservation Hall,
yeah.
Chris Robinson Brotherhood,
I love Wolfpack.
Gary Clark,
It's great.
I went
Pigeons.
out to Red Rocks to go see Wolfpack. That was a great time.
Are you
man.
serious? Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome, dude.
Yeah, it was
Fuck
Knower, Kamasi,
Oh, wow.
Washington, and then Wolfpack.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, great time.
That's a crazy
You
bill.
guys
They
going
just-
to MSG to see them?
I saw that. Yeah, I'm gonna get tickets for that
With
for
frequent
sure.
flyers, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Fuck
Nate
yeah.
Smith.
Yeah, dude.
Oh man, it's gonna
Somebody-
be great.
I think we're gonna go. We're gonna end up going.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
should.
going.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna go to ticket for
I was
that.
telling the friends, like, watch, they're going to troll. Everybody say this is their goodbye show. Watch, they're going to troll. And this is it. We sold out Madison Square Garden. We're done now.
It's just insane how, like 3 years ago, they were playing the Brooklyn Bowl. Yeah. And now they're playing MSG. That's like a 17,000 seat jump.
Mind you, they haven't sold
And,
it
like-
out yet, so maybe they won't do
I know.
it. But who knows?
Well,
It's one night. They haven't been here in a while on the East Coast.
I guess. I mean, I've only seen Phish and Radiohead at MSG, and like both those shows were just packed and wild, and like so. I mean,
Did you go to Baker's Dozen? Did you go to that?
yeah, I
shit?
hit 7 shows.
Jesus
out of that.
Christ.
Yeah.
That's too much.
So, yeah,
I love Phish, but I don't think I could do 7 shows in a row. That's
too
Phish.
much.
Yeah,
this
I
man
have-
is like fish
Yeah.
fanatic over here.
He's
Yeah,
wearing
I've
a
seen-
Fish shirt podcast.
Yeah, I've seen Phish over 30 times since 2013. And,
That's crazy. That's awesome. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
I mean, it's. I mean, you know, a lot of people.
He's like, is it?
Yeah, you know,
That's what I said. Yeah.
a lot of people don't get it, and it's cool, you know. But it's really like my summer vacation every year. Like I'll go and I'll be like, okay, I'll go see them like 5 times in a row, and then it's like I know that sounds fucking crazy.
Well, I know the
but,
show's
like,
different every night, like
it
so
is.
it's worth it. Like I
It is.
understand. I understand.
Well, like,
I just
all right,
not
so,
my
like-
thing.
So, like for example, like one of the shows we went to during the Baker's Dozen, like all of Suburban Sensi, just minus our guitar player, just happened to go that night.
Same night.
Yeah.
And each night they had like a themed for like there was like a Baker's Dozen, so they had like a donut theme, and each night was a different flavored donut, and the whole set of music would pertain to whatever flavor that was. So like when they did like strawberry flavored, they would do like Strawberry Letter 23 and like things like that. But the night we happened to go, it was like a Tuesday. It was jam filled donut. Was like the flavor. So we were like, oh my God, this is gonna be insane. And like we get there and they do like a 4 or 5 song like set that's like an hour and like 20 minutes. Like
That's awesome.
Like they took like a song that like
literally just jammed like the whole
they
time.
took like a they took like a song that like they've never played longer.
Like one of their
Yeah.
But like they did like weird stuff.
So it's a normal Phish set.
But they did like weird stuff where they took like all the songs they never jam on and like jammed on them. So they took like a song that like never extends like past like 2.5 minutes and they made it like a half hour. You
Nice.
know? And like, you know, like but it's not just like them just like hammering through like the same thing the whole time. They really do like touch upon like interesting like chord changes and like different ideas, and I don't know. I'm gonna get off my Phish soapbox.
No, it's okay.
I
Teach the people.
This man
You're
can
actually teaching me.
have a whole
this
Phish podcast.
This is why
himself.
everybody hates. This is why everybody hates Phish, is because there's people like me that are like. Because there's people that are like, I don't like Phish, and then I'm like, well,
You do like
and then,
Phish
like,
because of something in
and
the
then, like-
cosmos.
and then like 3 hours go by, and they're like, Jesus, you're still fucking talking, like, yeah. So yeah, I'll just stop.
There's actually a second part of this podcast. Go to youtube.com/
Yeah.
On to the next piece of news. Mountain Jam just released their lineup. It's all music festivals today, ladies and gentlemen. So Mountain Jam released their lineup.
They're getting back to the jam.
Yeah, they're getting back to it. So Mule's on it, Willie Nelson and Family, the Avett Brothers, Alison Krauss, Russo's Almost Dead, one of Mark's least favorites, Michael Franti and the Spearhead.
Not a fan of Michael Franti.
Not a fan, no.
Lucas Nelson's on it,
I love Lucas Nelson.
and Promise of the Real.
It's okay. I kind of don't like Michael.
Here's a
Franti
few
either.
that you might like.
It's all right. I don't hate him, but it's like,
But Michael, if you're listening to you, I would love to open for you. So
You already heard us say some shit. We're already out.
Sensi, fuck that.
he was already
Sensi,
out.
fuck those guys. Family gathering in my ass. Amy Helm, Twiddle, Carl Dentz's Tiny Universe, which they're at the Ardmore.
Wow.
Carl Denson's the shit.
they're at the Ardmore
last
in
week?
March. Carl Denson's playing with the Rolling Stones, dude.
Yeah, I know. That shit's crazy.
Yeah, he's their guy.
He's the man.
He's making the money.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, can you imagine that paycheck?
That Lenny Kravitz
I'm sure he
money.
can. His store's about to go for like 20 years. He's like, I
I
don't
know.
care. I have Rolling Stones money now.
My God.
Yeah. Now to something a little both depressing and uplifting. I don't know if you guys keep up with like popular music news. R. Kelly locked up.
Oh yeah.
I did see that, but fuck R. Kelly, man.
Yeah,
You
fuck
know,
that guy.
like-
Hey, we covered on
Like, come
Halloween.
on,
I
fuck
believe
R.
I Could
Kelly.
Fly with Buddy singing.
Yeah, we did a space. we did a space.
On percussion.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
No, he actually sang lead vocals. He got off the kit and came to the front.
That was one of the songs where we did a swap for.
Oh.
And
Yeah.
like,
we
but-
all swapped instruments.
so we
on
did
that.
we did a space themed Halloween. So it was like all like aliens and like flying themed and stuff. So we were like, hey, let's do I Believe I Can Fly. That makes
Space
sense.
Jam.
And then like a couple days after that, I saw that documentary on Lifetime about him, and I was like, God damn it, like, fuck. Like, I mean, I knew he was a scumbag, but like, man,
But what, to what degree nobody had a
That's
fucking
why,
clue.
and that's why we made Buddy sing the song.
Yeah, exactly. So that's on him, I guess.
Anyway, he's out on bail. He posted, I think it was like $1 million.
It was like $1 million bail. He posted it, really?
That's insane.
When people say your bail is $1 million, you actually only have
it's
to
like-
post 10%,
yeah.
which is $10K.
I
Or
saw-
$100K, excuse me. I can do math.
I mean,
Yeah, I was
mean,
gonna say. I
whatever.
was just thinking. I was like, wait.
I mean, I don't know how accurate these
I
things
may be on something, but I can do this. What? Sorry.
I don't know how accurate these things are, but I saw that he lost like something like 92% of like his like net worth over
Damn.
like that documentary. Like so many like
The radio station's pulling them off.
yeah,
the air.
everybody just like
no syndication.
yeah, everyone just like dropping him and everything like that, and
That'll do it.
That Mute R. Kelly movement's doing its job.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, totally
That's pretty
good for y'all.
Yeah, good for y'all.
Keep fighting the good fight.
Don't cover R. Kelly again.
No, we won't. I definitely won't. I definitely
Sorry,
won't.
guys.
I don't know. I think maybe we'll do a
It was in good taste.
Can we do a 35-minute version of Ignition?
Ooh, you might be onto something.
No, it's not.
And this was their last interview before they.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna be locked up next.
On to the next segment of the show. It's called Whip It Out. This is where the gentlemen here whip out their phones and they whip out their Spotify or Apple Music. We talk about the last 5 things they listened to. And I have my last 5 things. Mark may have a couple he'll throw in.
Cool.
But here I'll start just to kind of get us going. Away from the jam scene, I kind of been jumping around different things. The Life and Times album by Jim Croce. My dad's a huge Jim Croce fan, so I love the album.
Jim Croce's great, man.
Jim Croce's the man. Queen's Greatest Hits 1 and 2.
There you go.
Because the movie came out.
Yeah,
you guys like Queen at all?
I'm not the biggest fan, honestly.
Okay.
But
So
I do enjoy Queen. I don't like hate Queen.
it's funny because
I just never really got like that into them. Like I know they're like main songs. I don't really like. I couldn't tell you like their like in depth like catalog.
Right,
you
you're
know
like,
what I mean?
cool, I acknowledge you, but I'm not totally.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm slow. I feel like I'm starting to get into Queen because like. You know, a lot of times, like with like classic rock stuff, you're like, I don't like stuff that like my dad doesn't like, because like your dad shows you a lot of classic rock stuff, so he'll be like, like Led Zeppelin's good, but like the Eagles fucking suck, dude, or like whatever, but like he did not like Queen, and so like I really didn't like Queen for a while.
So that's the
and
thing.
then,
like, my dad didn't like Queen, and I'm just like, like I don't know, Like I'm good.
My dad was indifferent.
I think I just started like listening to it. It took me until like I started actually playing music, I think, and then a couple of years into that, I heard some stuff like on the radio, and I'm just like, dude, like Another One Bites the Dust. Like that bass line is like one of the best bass lines ever. Like it is timeless bass. Like I love that bass riff.
Definitely.
But speaking of them, don't see the movie. It's fucking terrible.
Okay, that's good. I hate biopics anyway. Give me a good documentary instead.
Yeah.
2. We're gonna get back to the music. Ted Bundy.
Oh, that was very uplifting. That whole
it was
documentary
interesting.
series.
It was interesting.
Fuck you. What about the Fire Festival documentary?
Oh, the Fire
Have you guys
Festival
seen that
one.
shit?
Yeah, dude.
I actually just watched that.
Well,
too.
you watched
both of them?
I watched
just
the
the one.
You watched the
I watched
Hulu
the
one,
Hulu
and I
one.
watched the Netflix one,
Yeah, so
and we haven't seen either of the other ones.
Oh, you gotta see
Yeah.
both sides because it's just the whole thing. It's just
Yeah.
I think I got halfway through the Hulu documentary and I got busy. I'm gonna watch the rest.
Well,
of
the
it
Hulu
tonight.
one's like way more like
They were like
how
interviewing
much
the guy and shit. That's why I was saying. I was like, at least Star Festival, it's not going to be that big of a disaster.
until you show up.
So everybody.
I don't think we can be.
You know, you should troll everybody.
Everybody, please buy the $5,000 platinum ticket.
Yeah.
You should troll everybody anyway. Just have like little
I
tents
promise
set up
you,
everywhere.
Kendall Jenner will be there.
Some FEMA tents.
Like,
Oh my God, come on. Just have a couple tents that say FEMA, that'd be it. Anyway, moving on. I was listening to Bill Evans' record, Portrait in Jazz.
nice.
It has Paul Motion, and I think it's Larry Grenadier. Mark, if you got to correct me. Do you know?
I don't know.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, piano player extraordinaire, God damn it. Also in the news is Ryan Adams. You know Ryan Adams? He's like in the news
Sexual
for
allegations,
that whole
yeah.
thing. Well, I was wondering like what
It's like
did he,
every other day now.
yeah, but the
Someone
reason why he's on my list was when I said
Look,
last 5
man.
things I truly mean. I was like, what did this guy sing? And
Yeah.
his big song was the "Come Pick Me Up" song. And I listened to that, and then the Eric Clapton from the Cradle record.
Nice.
We were on the drive home from where were we coming from?
Virginia?
No.
I
This
don't know.
past weekend,
Oh,
Elizabethtown.
oh.
We were played Funk Brewing Company.
Oh, I love funk, man. They make some great beer.
Oh, they do,
Yeah.
and great food.
Silent disco, man. That's
Yeah,
a good one.
dude.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
We had another one that was really good. It was an IPA it was a double. It was the
I don't
double that
remember.
they had. But
I got kind of drunk. I don't
he
remember.
did. He really did. He had some friends from in town. He went.
We
to
should play there.
It's
so I
a
can get
small
drunk.
stage, but
Where
like
is this at?
it's out in
Elizabethtown.
Elizabethtown.
Okay.
It's a nice little brewery. I mean, it's a small stage. We kind of fit on it, but you guys, I think they have an extender for the stage, so you might be able to fit 5 people on there. But we were listening to From the Cradle on the way back. Okay, so let's do this. Let's start with Steve.
You want to go with me?
Yeah, let's do the last 5 things you listened to. What do you got?
See. Let me go on.
By the way, real quick, every episode has a Spotify playlist attached to it. So if you look for DCTO, this is number 7. This is number 8. Episode number 8. I can't believe we made it this far. DCTO 008. You'll find this episode's playlist on Spotify and featuring Suburban Sensi. And every song or artist that we mentioned will be included on the playlist. All right, so what do we got, Steve?
Let's see. Well, right off the bat, what we were listening to on the way here was Tribe Called Quest, Low End Theory.
Oh yeah,
So, some good car
Classic.
bumping music. That's always good. I like always
Cue
bumping hip hop
Excursion.
in my car. Let's see. So going back before that, when I was going to pick them up, I was listening to the Beatles' Help.
Oh, the whole record, or just like the
Yeah,
sing-
no, I was listening. Yeah, I had the record going.
Oh, nice,
so
nice.
I had that.
That was one of those ones my dad loved that he played in the car
Hell
all
yeah,
the time.
Help
yeah.
is some
Same.
good stuff.
Oh, your dad's
oh, yeah.
your guys were huge
Oh, yeah.
Beatles fans.
Especially like the early years like that. Like the early
Then
era.
I was listening to Night Shift by Bob Marley earlier.
Classic.
Good song.
Mhm.
Well, actually, the dub version, It's Alright, with Lee Scratch Perry producing. Then I had the Interrupters.
Who's that?
I can't go past
They're
them.
like a newer ska
Yeah, so
band.
they're actually like on like Radio 104.5 and shit now, but they're produced by Tim Armstrong, the dude from Rancid.
Oh.
So that actually the song I was listening to had him in it too. What else do I got on here?
What's
I
number
can't go
5?
back- I can't go back any further than that.
My boy's going off YouTube here.
Yeah.
Oh, do you you don't believe in the streaming services?
I
or
know.
whatever?
I know. I was listening to some Donovan earlier too. Some
classic.
Cosmic Wheels album I was
Mhm.
listening to. So yeah, I mean, we love Donovan. We cover some of his shit, and he's definitely a big influence on us.
Speaking of
So
things
always
you cover,
bumping that.
are you have any big surprises coming for your festival? Or just like,
For like cover wise.
oh yeah, have you not even like planned it yet? Or are you like waiting?
We definitely have some ideas. Like
Okay.
they're like, it's just crazy running this thing because you have like, you're thinking about like logistics and being like a stable, like I'm gonna run like an event, and then like there's the other side to your brain which is like I want to throw like a crazy like party, and you know like the two of those are clashing like all the time.
Mhm, you're trying to be responsible, but also you want to rage
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
exactly
for sure.
Uh,
All right, but here real quick, Anton, give me your 5.
All
and
right.
your last 5 things you were checking out,
Let me put my Spotify.
and then we'll get a mark up here.
So yeah, I guess I'll go through these are albums, but yeah. So I got
Yeah, give me one too.
So yeah, starting off with the Keystone Sessions, which is Jerry Garcia and Merle Saunders.
Is that where they cover bluegrass songs?
No, this is like all like Motown and like old like reggae kind of stuff, like a lot of like Jimmy Cliff, like Marvin Gaye.
You know this about this? I don't know this record.
It's like I think it's like from like 1973.
Okay.
Maybe, but it's like early Jerry Garcia band type stuff. Very, very cool. I'm a huge Deadhead, and I have been like my whole life, but like the Jerry Garcia band, I feel like is just they're like everybody. I've heard like I heard an old Deadhead at a show once say that like, yeah man, like the Grateful Dead is like the party, but like Jerry Garcia band, that's like the temple. You know what I'm saying, man? And like,
Yeah, JGB is
as stupid as that sounds, like
Yeah, we got
it
to
made
open-
sense to me.
We got to open for Melvin Seals and JGB. Not the real Jerry Garcia band. We got to open up.
No,
for
man,
them.
that's amazing, man. I like Melvin Seals, dude. He was the longest. I mean, other than his bass player John Kahn, he was the person that was in the Jerry Garcia band the longest.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was like with them from like
Yeah,
83, 84, like all the way up to the end.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, man, love that stuff. And then next thing I got on here is we were talking about Mo earlier. Got a live album by Mo.
Called what?
Warts and All Volume 2.
Mark loves the warts and all.
Dude, I'm a huge Mo fan. Dude.
Are you really?
Yeah. Dude.
Oh, it's awesome, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
that
that's
shit's
this is
awesome.
literally this is like my favorite Mo show.
Fuck yeah.
This was
Because I think I have like the first couple of warts and alls. that
I think
came
it's like 2002. I'm not sure. I think it's from somewhere in like Atlanta.
out. Oh, okay.
But the second set on it, it's like Mexico, Happy Hour Hero, Seat in My Pants, Sensory Deprivation Bank, like
Dude, it's all
that.
the old shit, dude.
Oh, yeah.
It's awesome.
Heroes.
Cool.
But like,
Shit.
but it's like an hour and like 10 minutes of just like nonstop playing. Like they just like set
Nice.
like the segues in between their songs they're like one of the best bands to do that. Just like the way they melt,
they're
the way
so
they
good at
mesh
it.
songs together is like insane.
Have you ever seen them do like a full segue show where it's like literally they don't stop playing except set break?
Mm-hmm.
You know? And then they close with whatever they open with.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, like I went to like the Halloween show that they did in Philly when they did like the video game themed music, and it was just like a whole set of like Mo, but like nonstop weaving in and out of like Zelda and like Mario Brothers.
That's awesome.
And like it was just like crazy.
That's awesome.
And I mean, because I'm a bass player, like I think Rob Durhawk is like the best bass player in the jam scene right now.
He's the
like
shit.
he is unbelievable. And he definitely was one of the guys that was like, all right, I want to like slap, I want to get my slap on.
All right, give me number 4. I think it's number 4.
Dub Reggae by King Tubby, which is like a full album. Just like super dub, just like in the cut dub, just super greasy. The next thing I got is an album by Mike Gordon Band called The Green Sparrow, which is there's like some stuff by like Leo Kottke on there, and it's like really like interesting acoustic kind of stuff. And I mean, I'm a big Phish fan, but like that a lot. And the last thing I got on here is White Pepper by Ween. And I'm a huge Ween fan, and that is my favorite album by Ween.
That's awesome.
And I just think they are the best songwriters of the 90s. And I'll argue till the sun comes up with anybody over that one. We'll leave that to another.
Have you guys ever played John and Peters in New Hope?
We haven't played there, but I've gone to see Dean Ween
do like his invitation thing.
Like his invitational.
Yeah, cool.
And then there was one time too where I saw he posted on Facebook where he was just like, like Dean Ween groups just having a show here. We're testing out 20 new songs we wrote. Like, just come out if you feel like it. And it was like 2 hours before the show happened. So it was just got in my car. Like me and my girlfriend got in our car.
That's
just, like,
awesome.
went there.
Let's go.
Yeah, we're like, oh man, like it's only an hour away. Like we get in there, like we can make it.
Hell yeah.
You made it? It was a good show?
Yeah, we made a great show. We got to meet him afterwards and stuff. Like,
How sick is that?
Super cool guy, man.
Dude, my old band, the Late Ancients, we played a gig at John and Peters. There was literally one person there, and it was Dean Ween.
And the
It
bartender.
was the bartender and Dean Ween.
That's awesome.
That's amazing, man. Yeah, man, he's like a total
he's cool.
He's a total townie.
He's super cool, too,
he
yeah.
just hangs out in New Hope, man.
That's a cool town for sure.
Yeah, like man, like you buy him a beer, you give him a Marlboro. He's cool.
A cool place if you ever looking to do covers. I just played there. Is Logan Inn, the hotel over there. It's
Is
really
that in
nice.
New Hope?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's a cool little spot.
I feel like I've heard of
Hey, Mark, what do you got for your last 5?
Yeah, let's
or
hear it.
last few?
Yeah, sorry,
You're good.
No, it's
I
cool.
spewed.
Don't
It's not
apologize.
about
The whole point of this podcast.
It's not about us.
The whole podcast is talking about like new music people, but maybe don't know.
Definitely.
All right, so here's what I got. I was listening to the Grateful Dead, the Live Dead album.
Nice.
This St. Stephen.
That's like his
So-
favorite shit right here.
That's literally the album that made me start playing music.
Nice.
What? No shit.
I was in a dark room. Someone gave me a chemical of some kind, and I like
Water.
It's water, and and yeah, it was a weird spot in my life where like I didn't know what I wanted to do, and like the second like that Saint Stephen the 11 turn on your love light,
yeah.
like I was just like, oh my god,
Yeah.
like this is like
That shit-
life changing.
That was my first Dead album ever.
That was like
Yeah.
my first
It's
experience with like real live Grateful
so
Dead
good.
stuff.
Yeah. Yep.
And like that breakdown, like after like the one man gathers when another man spills, like in
Yeah.
that Saint Stephen breakdown, that boom, 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 that like I just envision like streets of like San Francisco, like during that.
Fuck yeah.
Like, it's
Dude.
just like such like the most
Definitely.
like quintessential like 60s.
Yeah, that shit's so
great.
good.
Love
I
that.
listen to
It's
that
a
album
great
all the
one.
time. I
Yeah.
love it, man. We actually covered Saint Stephen.
Yeah, we
actually.
did for a
Nice.
little while.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had
Nice.
it.
Great song.
And then
Named after
I got Morris Day and the Time.
Yeah.
Nice.
Really?
Yeah, dude, the bird, dude.
I wasn't expecting
Yes.
that. Okay, what else
man,
you got?
I love
What
Morris
else
Day.
you got?
I got some Blind Faith. I was listening to their
Nice.
one album.
Had to cry today.
Had to Cry Today. We actually
we covered
we
that
just
one.
covered
Great
that tune
one.
too.
Nice,
Actually.
man.
And then talk
Yeah, I
about
like your guys'
Great
cover
choice.
selection.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
talking about Mo. I was listening to Rebubula on No Doy because
Nice.
that's my
Nice.
favorite Mo song,
Nice.
killer song.
Very
And then
nice.
all this making fun of Phish, I actually was listening to a Phish Alive one. You Enjoy Myself.
Of course.
There you go.
I mean, you know.
That
whatever.
was the song that sold me on
There
them,
you go.
man. You
Yeah,
know,
whatever.
prog rock excellence, man.
That's right, dude. That was I love that. I mean, I'm not a huge Phish fan, but I love that live record
yeah.
is great, dude.
Dude, all that early stuff's great.
Yeah.
We had a friend of ours, Brendan Johnson, on. He was telling us about the heavy prog album that they just put out that was supposed to be a joke.
It had like a fake name.
With a fake name.
So
Or whatever.
their
What was it called again?
Halloween show. Usually, every time they play Halloween, they cover another band's record in its entirety, and that's like, whenever they announce Halloween, everybody guesses like whatever it's gonna be, and everyone like goes crazy over it. And they give out like a playbill, like when you first
a
get
musical type
yeah,
shit.
exactly like a musical when you first get in there, and that's when it's revealed. So like right when the doors open, and they've done things from like the White Album to like that one Talking Heads record with like Once in a Lifetime's on.
Didn't they do Waiting for Columbus by
They've
Little
done
Feat,
Waiting
too?
for Columbus. They've done Remain in Light. That's it. They've done all kinds of things. Loaded by Velvet Underground.
Great album.
But so everybody's like, oh man, like they're gonna do like some like Jimi Hendrix or like something, and they come out and they're like, okay, we're gonna do Kasvat Voxt's 1981 Scandinavian krautrock like self-titled album, the most exclusive album ever to be recorded, like by a band that no one's ever heard of, and everyone's like, what? And so people just start researching this like on Google, and they start seeing like Rolling Stone reviews and like all music reviews of like this record. But it turns out Phish fucking paid these people to write fake reviews of this record that did not even exist. And then they just played this thing, and they wrote that it was just a whole new set of Phish music. Mm-hmm. And like, but with like lyrics that sounded like they were loosely translated from like another language. So like a lot of like, it's super like, doesn't make like any sense at all. But it's honestly like the best music they've come out with in the last like 10 years, I'd say.
That's what our buddy was saying. He was saying that now that it was like originally a joke, but now they're like, oh, we have to play this album a lot more now.
Yeah,
they have to play that out live more.
It's like taking on like a crazy life. Like that's the thing. Like every time you go and see them, you're just like in the store for something that's gonna make you be like, oh man.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what I love about them. And that's like what I want to strive to be with my band and our band is I want to be something that's like every time we play a show, you take away something different from it each time.
Definitely.
And you're like, that makes me want to go see it again.
Oh, yeah,
you know?
definitely.
Yeah. Good shit. Are you as big a Phish fan as he is?
He's not.
I like Phish, but
But
I mean,
you like the Dead, so
no,
like,
yeah,
so like,
I definitely
you, so,
like. I don't like hate Phish, but I just like I don't know like as in depth like as like Anton.
Right, Steve doesn't know. You're not like about the repertoire.
I'm just
you're
a
like,
fanboy douche. Like, there's
Like,
no,
I
no
know,
denying
like,
that.
I know a majority of their catalog. Like, I know most of their songs.
But that's not the
I'm
thing
sure
you're-
there's a lot of shit I don't know. Like,
what
too.
would be the band that would be your Phish for you?
I mean, like,
Dead or
I mean, my favorite band, like, just from like going back to like my childhood, is The Doors. That was like my favorite band, like growing up. But I mean, I got a ton of like bands that I like just like go to, like the Beatles. Like I was saying with the Help album, like that's just a band like I go to and like I could just listen to any day at any given time, like, and just put that on. So I mean, I guess like I don't know. I don't really have like per se like favorite like band. I just there's a ton of bands I love, but I'd say probably like the Doors were like my biggest like influence. Like Ray Manzarek's keyboard work. I mean, like that was like a big reason of like why I like started playing like keyboard and shit. You know, like listening to that shit growing up, like Beatles shit, Rolling Stones, like all their early like '60s albums. Like it was all a huge influence on me for sure. So I mean, I guess I would like if it came down to it, I have to go with like one of those bands as like my like go-to like favorite. But like I listen to so much different shit.
Well, so this is actually going to lead us perfectly into the next round, which is the lightning round, or next segment's called lightning round.
Okay.
So we started with Steve.
Get it.
We're going to start with Anton this time.
Okay.
I have 10 things here.
Okay.
Firsts or favorites, and as fast as you can. Try not to dwell too long on it, because
Okay.
your first response is always the right response in our theory. Here we go. First album you ever owned.
I'm gonna be honest. Probably that one Limp Bizkit album.
Yes.
It was the one with like the graffiti and the dude like with the hoodie on it. Like which he's
Like
like
fucking,
spraying the spray paint can.
Nookie.
Which one
Yeah.
is that? The Nook? The
I
one,
think it was
it's
Nookie,
whatever one
right?
had Nookie on it. Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
first show you ever saw. Big concert.
First one I can really remember, I would say would either be Kansas at the Keswick Theater,
Awesome.
or Yes with Dream Theater opening at
That's
the
that
Borgata with Christopher Squire and Rick Wakeman and Alan White, like all the originals.
That's pretty fucking awesome. That's cool.
But yeah, it would be either one of those.
Last show you saw that you weren't a part of.
That would probably be Phish New Year's Eve at Madison Square Garden.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right on. Favorite song to play?
Just like original song
Either.
or
It could be either a cover or your song or a song you're learning.
I mean, it's gonna sound a little self-centered, but there's a song that I wrote that we've been playing recently about an alien that fills gasoline up at a gas station. It sounds weird,
And this is on the new
but
album.
it makes more sense when you hear it.
Yeah, it will be on the new album, hopefully.
I mean, we'll be the judge.
But I've really been feeling that one though, and yeah.
Least favorite song to play?
Probably any cover by any band that's like crazy famous, or any song that's like really well known, I'd say.
Okay. Favorite local artist that hasn't been heard of that should be?
If no one's out there is listening to Euphonious, they're a band that's from mix of like South Jersey and Philly guys, but they've been putting out some real like Humphreys McGee type stuff, like real like prog rock heavy. Just very intricate kind of music. I really like what they've been doing.
Nice. Guilty pleasure artist or album?
Oh man,
Steve probably knows your answer.
Honestly, probably some like drum and bass music.
You're
Just
guilty
like
for that?
Some like EDM kind of stuff.
Okay. Are you
'cause
talking like Skrillex or like what? Like, give me
no,
something.
no, not like that. But I mean, I wouldn't really say it's really guilty pleasure because
You don't feel guilty about
I
it?
mean, do I even really? I don't know. I don't know if I feel guilty pleasure about any music, but like, I like listening to EDM music because it's got like certain rhythms and hip hop music as well. It's got like certain rhythms and beats that sometimes sound like a human can't do it. And then when I see humans doing it, like for example, like JoJo Mayer's Nerve, I don't know if you know.
I love them.
Like you know them, but they like completely just take like Aphex Twin kind of things and just like do it with like a live band. And like I think that's like super cool. Those are like things that like I'm really like into right now.
Definitely.
So I don't know if that'd be a guilty pleasure, but I also like to listen to things that like, you know, like trap music and stuff like that. And then I'll be like, well, you know, like that drum beat's like insane because I know it's like programmed, but wouldn't that be cool if that was like done by like
a live drummer
by
or
like
something.
a live drummer? Yeah, exactly.
Favorite album right now?
Oh man, that's so hard.
Is that like for like around today or just
Like right now?
in
Yeah,
general, like
Right now?
all time?
The question used to be favorite album of all time, but,
that's
but it's
tough.
been too hard, so now it's
that's
till
so
now.
hard.
Shit, like that's like
Like,
come out
like the album that
recently.
you're playing like at least once a week or once like every
That's
2
like
weeks.
recent.
I'd say
Yeah.
Okay.
over the last like couple of weeks, I've been listening to Lola versus Power Man by the Kinks a lot.
Okay. I don't know that record too well.
Oh man, it's
That's awesome.
one of my favorites.
Hell yeah.
The song, specifically the song "Strangers,"
Yeah, that's
on that,
great. Dave Davies.
no
Trey.
matter what frame of mind I'm in when I listen to that song like brings me on like on the verge of like crying like every time. Like it's so but no, it is that good. like that is like one of the best
No, it's a
songs
great
like
song, yeah.
ever.
Definitely.
And
I would agree to that.
And I mean, the whole record is just, it's a whole record about
It doesn't
like,
get old.
it's a concept.
That's the record that Lola was on.
It was like,
like the song Lola.
Hello, LA Lola. But the whole record is
That's
like
the big hit from it.
the whole record is like a concept about like how shitty the music industry is.
Yeah, basically.
And it just like goes from like start to finish about like someone who's like coming up in like the music industry, and then it's like,
Money
oh my
go
god,
around.
like this sucks. And then like and
feel.
like their downfall. Like I just love it. Like the whole thing from the start to finish is
Definitely.
fantastic. And it ends with like them like getting rid of all their shit and just like living in the woods
The Kinks
with
were
like
great
monkeys,
at
with living
doing,
in the
like,
jungle with like
concept,
monkeys
like,
and like stuff like
records,
that.
you
Like
know?
it's just such like a sublime record.
Yeah,
Like
the Kinks were great with concept records, like even like Arthur and like Village Green. They were all kind of like concept.
they were just
records that were,
fantastic
like,
storytellers.
I gotta check that band out more. I know the hits. I don't know. Kind of like how you. Feel
Yeah,
about
man.
it.
Yeah, nah, I
dude,
feel
start,
like-
dude, start.
If you listen to the early '60s
Start with
Kinks,
Start
I mean,
with
all of their
start with
great
Lola versus Power Man and
go
Village
backwards.
Green Preservation Society.
Yeah.
Both those records, man.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
yeah.
Favorite artist right now,
Locally or just like in general?
in general. Don't say Phish.
I'm not gonna say Phish. Well, so like newer kind of stuff.
Anything. What's the artist that's like?
I've
your-
actually really been liking Mac DeMarco lately.
Who is that?
He's a he kind of does like some like alternative like rock kind of stuff. Canadian guy,
He's like a singer-songwriter.
singer-songwriter,
He's kind of like indie.
but
vibe,
like yeah, indie alternative. But like all his records, he does all the instruments himself. Like he'll play like drums, bass, guitar, keyboards, whatever
Yeah,
else.
he's an awesome songwriter.
And then he forms like a band to back him when he plays live.
Oh, right on.
But he's it's
he puts on a great.
it's kind of like sounds like the Police, where like the guitar is just like drowned in like chorusy like reverb kind of stuff.
It's a mix of a lot of different styles. For sure,
But like all the drums are like super like hip hop like sounding. Like it's just a very like cool sound.
Yeah, he's got a great sound.
No, I'll definitely check that out. I'm interested. I'm curious.
Yeah, he's got a record called Salad Days, and
Yeah,
that one's
Days.
really good. And,
His newest album too is awesome.
Like Blue Boy?
This Old Dog.
Or This Old Dog, yeah.
That shit's
Right on.
dope. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, right on. All right, let's move to Steve. Steve, first album you ever
Oh,
owned.
God. First album I ever owned. Well, the first album I ever listened to, I'll go back to The Doors, because I was in Tommy's basement, my cousin, and he held up two albums, and it was The Doors self-titled album and Sgt. Pepper's.
Were you all tripping?
Yeah, right.
And
when we were like
I think there's an
5
extra
years
part
old.
of this story.
Yeah, when we were like 5 years old. We were just tripping out. in
Hold on,
his
real quick. Let's
basement.
talk about this real quick. Let's stop the lightning round. Let's talk about this. We should talk about this. What effect did we'll call them psychedelics have on the style that you guys play
Yeah.
music wise?
I'll let you answer that first.
I
I gotta. Think.
mean, honestly, I feel like it was more of like that sound. Like we grew up listening to like all that like '60s like garage rock, like psychedelic.
Yeah.
And even the mainstream shit from the '60s was that vibe. Even the pop shit from back then was still that vibe. The popular music back then was psychedelic still. So really, I mean, it stemmed from the music aspect of it. But I mean, yeah, when it came to the actual, stuff, that definitely gave us a big opening of our senses.
I
and-
definitely took a lot away from it. Yeah.
yeah, it definitely geared us into a whole nother way of like playing. Like there's definitely
Well, when I first started delving into all that, and like, I'm a huge proponent of mushrooms, by the way, and I think they are fantastic, and I think that that's something that can heal people, but that's another discussion. That experience, listening to music through that experience, kind of like it's almost like you're seeing like the progression of like life, like you're seeing like, like the birth of something, and then kind of the young adolescence of something, and the old age, and then like the death. Like if you listen to albums from like that period, like they kind of like flow in that way. It sounds like crazy as shit, but like,
I feel you.
but no, when I listen to like music like the Dead, like Live Dead specifically, when I was in that state, you're hearing these instruments. I mean, at least I heard instruments communicate in ways that I was not used to hearing. Like, you know, like the drums would just be off, like doing like one thing, and the bass would be like, okay, well, I'm gonna do this now, and then like Jerry's like, well, all right, I'm gonna do this, and then like it's like just like a constant, just like centrifuge of just improvisation. And then like that took me into things like Coltrane and stuff like that, where that really becomes like apparent.
Yeah,
and
like especially between Elvin Jones and Coltrane.
Oh my god, dude, Elvin Jones is like,
yeah.
If I could travel in time to see one drummer, like that would like he would be like mine.
Oh, for sure.
Like, hell yeah, like for sure. But yeah, no, I think like I think psychedelics are great for seeing what kind of thing you can be capable of artistically. After a point, it definitely becomes like masturbatory.
Yeah.
Not a very good thing.
Exactly.
But
it's definitely eye-opening, and it definitely helps, but it's definitely something that you don't want to.
I mean, we had a great writing session like that one time, you know, where we wrote like half the songs for like a record coming up on that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, very cool. So people know your take on that. All right,
we
back
kind
to
of went off. I'm sorry.
No, it's good. No, it's good. I don't dive too deep into that stuff myself, but a lot of people are curious. And I'm sure you helped to shine a light on that.
We're honest.
Steve, back to the lightning round. First show you ever saw.
So the first concert I ever went to is probably one of the best concerts I've ever went to, too. I was young. I was probably like 6 or 7, and my mom took me to the Wells Fargo Center, whatever it was called at the time. And I saw Paul McCartney. Was my first show.
That was your first. How old were you?
I was one of my heroes, and I was only like, you know, I was probably like, I got to probably like 6 or 7. Like, I was a young ass kid, you know. I didn't even realize at the time how awesome what I was experiencing was, you know. But
did he have Lee Von Helm with him?
No, he didn't. That would be awesome. But probably the first concert I remember like going to by myself was with like Tommy and my cousin Chrissy and like her boyfriend at the time. It was like G Love was headlining. Slightly Stupid was the opening band. That was like the first concert I remember, like, you know, like tailgating, like partying at, and like, you know, enjoying myself. Yeah. But like my first concert ever was Paul McCartney, which was
that's a great show.
Awesome. Yeah, it was really awesome.
Last show you saw that you weren't a part of?
Last show I wasn't part of. That doesn't include like bands we've played with, right?
Yeah, no, I mean like show that you weren't playing at all. You were just there to have a good time. It can either be like a local show or it can be like a national touring act.
I'm trying to think, honestly, I can't even think of the last.
It's been a second.
It was before, like,
couldn't have been Phish.
No. I was gonna say. I was thinking the Radiohead show, but
really?
I'm thinking like I definitely been to something like after that.
We did all go to Radiohead as a band.
That was probably the one that pops in my mind that I could think of is we seen Radiohead back in this summer at actually at the Wells Fargo Center in Philly.
Oh, awesome!
The same thing, yeah. So, I guess that would probably be the last one that pops in my head. I'm sure there was something after that, but...
It's okay. There was probably some psychedelic.
It worked.
A favorite song to play?
Favorite song to play? I don't know. I probably would go with one of the newer songs as well. Like I like our new song, You Are Not, which like I use like the string effect in. It's just like a different kind of sound that I'm used to like playing normally. Like usually I play like an organ or like piano sound. On that song I kind of use like a string effect. So I've been enjoying playing that one live. I guess I'll go with that one. You Are Not. That's going to be a song on our new album. So
right on.
Hell yeah.
Least favorite song to play?
Least favorite.
Was probably a cover, but
I don't know.
Give it to me, man.
I've never really thought. Like I like playing all of our songs. There's not really one I don't enjoy playing.
Even like just song in general. Like,
I don't know. I guess I'd probably go with like. I don't want to say Find the Rhythm, but I mean we've played that a lot. So
wow.
Like, I don't know.
All right, that's cool.
It's not like my least favorite song to play, but like.
No, it's good to know.
It's just like I don't know. I don't know. I don't really. I don't want to say that's my least favorite song to play because it's not. But I don't really know. Like, there's not really like a song I don't like. I guess maybe one. Maybe
a long car ride on the way.
I can jive with that.
Maybe one of the like slower songs, like "Swimming Through Freedom" or something. Like just because it's a slower
we don't,
vibe.
Like, ever play that.
That's what I mean. I don't know. That's a hard one.
All right. I feel like the band's gonna call them up tomorrow and be like, bro.
We love them all equally. They're all our children.
It's hard to choose. It really
Every
is.
child, you're like, eh.
It really
is. Becky's all right, but she's an asshole.
I could do without that one.
Yeah. It's really hard to choose, honestly.
All right.
I do like playing all
right,
the
all right.
songs
Favorite
together.
local artist that hasn't been heard of that should be.
Okay. So this is local to like Jersey.
Or even just like Philadelphia, Jersey.
Because I would
Tri-State.
I'd like to give a shout out to Root Shock, the band we just played with up in Syracuse. They were awesome. I really like them.
What are they? What's the name again?
They're called Root Shock.
Where
and
in
they're
Syracuse
from
did you play?
Syracuse, New York.
We played at a spot.
Funk and Waffles or no?
We're actually going back there to play in May.
Oh, cool.
But we played at a spot called the Lost Horizon.
Okay.
And
yeah,
I got to be honest, it was probably the best show we've had that far away from where we're normally playing.
Crowd
there. Dude, there was like, probably like 70, 80 people there, and they all like bought merch.
No shit.
Fuck
like,
yeah, that's
like,
awesome.
they were all engaged and like we're like, oh, I'm like, where are you guys from? Blah blah blah. Like, I was like, oh man, like this is cool.
I mean that band Root Shock is awesome.
You make me
we
feel
really
important.
like them.
I feel love.
I'm trying to think of some of I'm trying to think of some of the other bands we've played with, like
Andy.
Yeah, Andy Moa.
Oh, AMFM. We played a bunch of shows with them.
They're awesome.
Andy
Big
and
fan of
Mark
those
used to play
guys.
together at the musical theater out in.
Well, and I was in Herbie for a hot
too.
minute. You guys know that band? You ever heard of Herbie?
I feel like I have.
It was Andy. That's Andy's first band, and then he started AMFM. So I've known Andy for 8 years.
Was that like Lancaster based?
Yeah, I used to live in Lancaster.
Oh, sorry. I think we talked
Yeah,
about that,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
That's
yep.
right.
So yeah, dude, definitely big fans of those guys. Andy Moa, Big Mine.
Yeah, we're friends with I think a couple of those guys. They came out to Phoenixville when we were playing the streets. They came and hung out with us.
Oh, hell yeah. So, yeah, I mean, there's a ton of good shit going on in this area right now.
Those are awesome dudes to link up with.
You did a couple shows with them, too, didn't you?
Big Mine? Yeah, they're our homies. Yeah,
I might as well say they're playing our festival, too. So.
All right, so we got two guys. I only have like about 10 more minutes to find out who the rest of the artists are. Guilty Pleasure, artist or album. If it's another artist off the festival, that would help me. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Guilty Pleasure artist.
Hambone Relay? Can I shout you guys out? No, Guilty Pleasure. I don't know.
You know what's funny is we do this part of the show, and a lot of people don't feel guilty about. They just go. Like,
that's what I mean. I mean, there's not like a
guilty.
band I'm really ashamed of like liking. Maybe maybe I'll put Limp Bizkit on there. That'll be my guilty pleasure.
We all going Limp Bizkit?
Yeah.
Didn't somebody say Celine Dion one time?
I'll never say it ever again.
Because Limp Bizkit is something different.
Well, my Limp Bizkit was my first album.
But I do thoroughly enjoy Limp Bizkit still. I think they're awesome. So I guess we can make that a guilty pleasure, or
dude, Chocolate Starfish, Hot Dog
hell yeah,
Water,
great
bro.
album. Smash Mouth.
Hey,
maybe.
What do you guys just live in the '90s? Like Jesus Christ,
dude, we love the '90s.
You and Cake. All right,
Cake.
Favorite album right now.
Favorite album right now. I would say maybe that Interrupters album for like a new album that's out. They just released an album. I was talking about them a little bit earlier. Tim Armstrong from Rancid produced it. I forget what the name of that new album is, but
Mark, use your time wisely. Go look that
it's
up.
got
for me, please.
a.
I'm just kidding.
I can't look it up because you have my laptop.
They got a song that's on the
insert that in there.
It's on the radio now. It's called "She's Kerosene." That's like the big song off of it. So I would say, I guess for a new album, I mean, I've been really feeling them lately. They're an awesome band. I really like them. They got a chick as a lead singer. She kills it. Punk rock, ska vibes.
Awesome.
I'm all about that shit. So yeah, I guess for a new album, that would probably be the one I'd go with.
Would that also be your favorite artist right now as well?
I mean, yeah, but I'll give a different answer. I mean, they definitely deserve to be shouted out. They're fucking awesome. I love that band. But I mean, favorite artist of right now. I mean, there's a ton. Honestly, there's a ton of good shit out there that definitely deserves some credit. I mean, there's that one band, King Gizzard and
King Gizzard and Lizard Wizard.
They're awesome.
That's a great band name.
Yeah.
The best band name to ever exist.
So yeah, bands like that are out there kind of skating on the underground.
Phish is a good band name.
Not at all.
Nah.
There's the Growlers, like bands like that. They're kind of they've been killing it, but not really recognized in like the mainstream. But they're out there hustling on the road and killing it on all their shows and all their albums. Mac DeMarco, even like we were talking about him. So yeah, there's tons of bands out there that I'm into right now. There's another great like psychedelic band, the A-La-Las, that I've really been liking. Kind of like Brian Jonestown Massacre, like in that kind of like scene, like that vibe. So there's tons of cool. That's kind of like the newer bands I'm into is more of like the psychedelic like rock scene, and even like the ska punk stuff that's starting to slowly come back, like the Interrupters and stuff like that. So it's definitely making a comeback. The Skints, another band that we played with, they're from London. They're kind of like bringing that like ska punk vibe back. So definitely
like the
into that vibe.
They got like that
Yeah.
kind of sound.
Specials just released a new album too. I've been meaning to check that out.
We got a long ride home, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen. What is your next big show?
I think our next show is opening. Next big show.
This podcast will also be released March 13th.
Okay, that's good.
So
they'll still work then. So March 22nd, we are opening for the Scatolites, the band that is responsible for literally inventing ska music.
No shit.
Yes.
Yep. They are original, and there's still 2 original members of the band left, and they're like 80-something years old.
One of them is,
they're a bunch of old motherfuckers, but yeah. So we're opening for them.
Where?
That's at the Stanhope House in Stanhope, New Jersey. That's like way up north,
Yeah,
way up north.
Basically in New York. It's Friday, March 22nd.
Yeah, and then
we got 420 booked at the Union. And
nice.
That'll be a big show for sure. And we're doing a show in Philly the night before. It's actually like a live stream show at the Boom Room in Philly. Who
I love the Boom
also
Room.
sponsoring
which I think will be like a festival pre-party and stuff.
No shit.
Which, we'll talk to y'all about that maybe a little bit afterwards. And then
you want to talk about the festival a little bit?
Yeah, and then obviously we have our festival, which is Sensi Family Gathering, which is 2 days of camping and music. It's going to be July 19th and 20th in Millville, New Jersey at Southwind Vineyard. It's going to be tons of camping, 2 stages.
Yes.
Almost 20 bands. It's going to be a good time. And everything that anybody could want, ranging from all genres at a price point that's, I think,
Very
reasonable.
fair.
What is it again for Blind Faith?
Well, right now it's $55.
What will it be once you start announcing bands?
$70.
Hey, that's $15 a head extra. So buy now.
Think about
Get
it.
'em
Buy
now.
your tickets now.
Think about it.
I mean, there'll be plenty of great bands except us because we suck. So, and they'll be on it for sure at least one time.
Yeah.
So, are you guys playing both nights?
So yeah,
if you
I
don't
think
mind me asking,
we're
too
gonna
much?
be.
We're the only band to play both nights. Okay.
You know those 2 X's that are usually on festivals?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's next to our name.
It's gonna be like Suburban Sensi times 2.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, we are. The only
You could
band
say
to
the
play.
Suburban Sensis.
Nice. That is
Yeah.
true, though.
Double Sensi.
That's what it should be. Just be 2 Sensis facing each other on the poster.
Yeah,
Just
right.
Like,
Dueling all.
all the Notre Dame. Sensi.
Well, yeah, we are so thrilled about it, though, and there's not
Yeah,
like.
we can't
Where can they
wait.
get tickets?
Well, you can go get tickets off of our website or off of the festival website. So our website is suburbansensi.com or sensifamilygathering.com.
Yep.
Or you can go to our Facebook pages on either one of those, whether that be Suburban Sensi or Sensi Family Gathering, and there's a ticket link on both of those pages on Facebook and social media, and that's also on Instagram as well.
Awesome.
So there's tons of spots where you can get that link.
Yes.
That's right, ladies and gents. Go ahead and follow them. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming.
Thank
and
you.
hanging
Hey,
with
thanks so
us.
much. Appreciate you having
That's
us
awesome.
out, and we're excited to have you guys play, man.
Happy to be there,
can't
and happy to
wait.
thank you again for having us be a part
Of course,
of it.
man.
Sure is.
So now you know 3 bands technically if you include these guys. So
Yeah.
be on the
Sneak
lookout
peeks.
for be on the lookout for more announcements, more stuff's coming.
Full Cardi B cover set coming at you.
This is the frosted donut. Peace. Thank you so much for listening to Dude. Check this out. Once again, if you want to learn more about Hambone Relay, please go to our website, hambonerelay.com, or go to iTunes to check out our records, or Spotify, which is where these playlists will be located for these episodes. And don't listen to the haters, man. There's plenty of good music out there. You just have to keep looking. See y'all later.